Russell Westbrook won the MVP award this year after averaging a triple-double. James Harden came in second, even though his Rockets won 55 games compared to the Thunder's 47. Rockets GM Daryl Morey questioned the voting process of the awards, saying, "I don't know if this is a good process. The ones that are decided by players or executives or media, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. You could argue for eliminating the awards altogether. There's not going to be a set criteria, and there's going to be issues with how it's structured. For me, it might be better to not have it." We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Jim Jackson. Welcome back, Jim.
What's up, Jim? What's up?
First, Skip.
Yes.
What do you make of this?
Look, I like Daryl Morey personally. I do. He's a smart guy, IQ-wise. I'm not sure about his basketball IQ, but he has high other IQ. But this is laughably absurd. And what he is doing, if I can just cut to the chase here, he is trying to look like he has the back of his former point guard named James Harden, whom he just demoted effectively when he went and got CP3. They are now, Houston, they're going to make James Harden the highest paid player in the NBA because they're trying to buy or rebuy his happiness. Because I'm here to tell you he is about to be the unhappiest player in the NBA because his MVP days are over. CP3 will have the ball in his hands, and it's going to drop the stats, especially the assist stats, that James has had as the center of the Mike D'Antoni universe over the last couple of years. But especially last year, where he was it, man. He had the ball in his hands most of the time. He could pass it or he could shoot it, and he had a great year.
Second behind Russell, Skip.
Okay.
Make sure you put that.
He was behind him, but I thought Russell, I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But now Daryl Morey is trying to practice revisionist history about what happened in 2015 because he's saying some voters told him it was just about Golden State winning more games. And they did have a leap. They won 16 more games. They went all the way up to 67 games from 51. Okay, so that was impressive. But you want to talk impressive? Look what Steph did. He shattered his own three-point record, and he took by far the most threes in the league that year, took 74 more than anybody else. He made 44% of them. He led the league in free throw percentage, which is pretty great, and he led the league in total steals, which is pretty great. Well, I thought he deserved MVP, and he won it in a landslide. It wasn't unanimous, but he ran away with it. It was like 100 to 30 or something like that in first place votes. So now we fast forward to this past year, and Morey is saying, yeah, but they told me it was about wins. No, it wasn't about wins. And so obviously they won more games only 7 more games than Russell Westbrook's team won this year.
Right.
Russell Westbrook was the first since Oscar to average a triple-double for the whole year. He's the MVP, and he took a below-average team all the way to the 6th seed. That's pretty great. He deserved MVP over James Harden, who had a fabulous year. But don't try to revise history on me just so that you can look like you got the back of James Harden.
I agree with you in regards to the Morey point being Daryl Morey being intelligent. And sometimes you can be too intelligent and outthink yourself. Back in the day in the league, it was based on wins. When you look at Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, 50 points, 20-plus rebounds, the players voted for Bill Russell because of the winning emphasis. Things have changed. If that's the case, if we're going to put it on winning, well, Mike D'Antoni shouldn't have got Coach of the Year then. If that's what we're talking about. Because San Antonio had more wins. Okay, but also...
Oh, that's a good point. I thought Pop, for once, really deserved Coach of the Year.
Exactly what he was working with. But there are instances, Shannon, and you notice, especially in basketball, David Stern, what he did was he figured out a way to draw eyes on his TV, to get people in the stands, which was we got to highlight our individuals. We need individuals to carry the league a lot more than just particular teams. And with that comes the burden of sometimes individuals in situations are going to win awards and do things that maybe they don't deserve because it's driven by individual talent. And that's what we have. That's what people bring. So when we talk about a San Antonio Spurs team, sometimes they may be the best team. That don't necessarily mean they got the MVP on their team. Steve Nash, when Steve won back-to-back titles,
Shaq should have won it.
Shaq should have won it. But
I agree.
What happened was they showed an improvement in regards to winning, in regards to what Steve did. So I understand what he's saying in regards to emphasis on winning, but there's circumstances within this that justify why some players are going to win certain awards. why some coaches are going to receive Coach of the Year awards over others, based on the criteria, I think, standards of what's happened improvement-wise of their team.
Daryl, Skip, he's a numbers guy, and he wants everything to equate to numbers. But in these awards, they're subjective. It's not like Usain Bolt. First one to the finish line, you win.
Yeah.
There's no set number that says, okay, if you average 30 points, average 7 assists, 8 rebounds, and your team wins 60 games, you're going to be the MVP. Right. That's not how it works, Skip.
Nope.
You got subjective people. Now, the year Steph won it, you mentioned the numbers, but they won 11 more games than what James Harden team did.
They did.
You won 8 more games, and Russ had a transcendent season. Wilt, the season that Wilt didn't win it, he averaged 50 points, 25 rebounds. 3 times he scored 70 or more. He didn't win it. Oscar had average of triple-double. He didn't win it. And up until 1980, the players voted. But we know how players can be biased. Because guess what? In the All-Star ballot, there were some players that left LeBron James off the ballot.
Yeah.
Skip, it's always there's no way we can.
I can see it, but
don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Kidding. In that case, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Skip, because think about it. There was a time baseball used to have the most sacred numbers.
Yeah.
And this is what we knew. If you were a pitcher and you had 300 wins, you were automatically going to the Hall. If you were a baseball player and you hit 500 home runs, you're going to the Hall. Because they've been playing baseball for what, Skip, 140 years since the Cincinnati Red Stockings in 1876 or something like that? So, Skip, we get the numbers, but basketball, you got 50, 60, I don't know how many writers that vote for the MVP. But because your guy didn't win, you wanted to do away with a war because your guy didn't win?
Correct.
Are you?
But like I said, it takes away from what Mike did because I thought Mike did a fantastic job with that. Now, I'm going to go back to your point, too, about James Harden giving up the point guard position. Keep in mind, though, James, from what I was told, too, James back in February looked at this and said, I want to have Chris Paul because I want to lessen the burden on what I'm doing. I want to be more efficient, and I want to win. Now, I think Chris is at a different time in his career. Think about it. In New Orleans, he had to pound the ball. He didn't have anybody. At the Clippers, he had to pound the ball. He didn't have anybody. James Harden had to do what he had to do this year because he didn't have the playmakers. So I do think there's going to be a mesh here of the minds and guys really kind of giving up a little bit more. Because in D'Antoni's offense, Skip, you can run and do what you want to do on the wing. You don't necessarily have to bring it up. I think this gives him an opportunity to be able to do that. Would he be as efficient? Will he put up the numbers? Probably not.
No.
But I think he'll be more efficient with
fine.
Chris Paul. And now Chris Paul can catch the ball on the wing and go at it, too.
Chris Paul was supposed to be in L.A. anyway with the Lakers.
Until
David Stern put the okie doke on him. But I just don't get it. Because your guy didn't win the award, you have James Harden under contract for the next 6 years. He's the highest paid player in NBA history. You don't need to try. And I thought James Harden should have won the award. But I'm not going to be over here, he didn't win, do away with it. Because, Skip, Nate Archibald averaged 30 points and led the league in scoring, led the league in assists. Right. Now, if James Harden had these numbers and he won 60 games, now we're talking about something, Skip. He won 65 games. We're talking about something. Dude, you won 54, 55 games?
Yeah.
And you think you're going to be the MVP over a guy that won 47 and averaged a triple-double?
That is correct.
Come on now.
So our friend Michael Rappaport will occasionally text me and say, why do you guys keep talking about MVP? Because everybody's talking about MVP. I care about it. I think you really care about it. I think the barbershop really cares about it, and this is straight barbershop. I'm into it, man. It's fun we talk about it like every day.
And now general manager, because his guy didn't win, wants to do away with the award.
You know, specifically, he didn't say MVP, he just said awards.
Yeah.
But you know what he was talking about.
Exactly.
You know exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You're never going to get it right. You never, because it's like they tried it. They said, well, if we let the owners vote for the all-NBA team, you can control who gets the Supermax contract. If we let the players, they're always going to vote for the guy that's coming up so they can get the Supermax contract. Exactly. So they tried to put it into but there's no
a little bit of sour grapes. Yeah. Just a little bit. How much would you give up for Kyrie Irving? We debate that next.